The invisible world is always first. The spoken word is a bridge between the unseen and the seen. Words are not idle things. They are living forces that clothe themselves in matter. When you speak, you send forth seeds into the soil of life, and those seeds must bring forth after their kind. If your words are filled with doubt, fear, and complaint, the harvest will be lack and limitation. But when your words are charged with faith, joy, and expectancy, the harvest will be abundance, harmony, and fulfillment. Every word carries a vibration. The universe responds not to the appearance of things, but to the tone of belief behind them. To say, "I am poor," is to open the door for poverty. To say, "Money loves to flow to me," is to invite wealth with open arms. You are the gatekeeper of your own treasury, and your words are the key that either locks the storehouse or opens it wide. Money, like every good thing, is alive with spirit. It listens, it responds, it moves toward love and respect, and it flees from resentment and scorn. Many treat money as a tyrant or a burden, and so it behaves as such. But when you speak to money as to a dear and trusted friend, it becomes loyal, generous, and ever-present. Say to money, "You are welcome in my life. You are my faithful servant. You multiply and replenish yourself wherever I go." Money, hearing these words, hastens to obey. To manifest is to bring the invisible into visibility. The process is simple, but it requires discipline of the tongue. The careless word is like a seed thrown on barren ground. The deliberate, faith-filled word is a seed planted in rich soil, watered daily by gratitude and expectation. When you rise each morning, speak with authority. "Today I walk in abundance. My path is strewn with golden opportunities. My supply is endless and immediate." These declarations set the law of attraction in motion, and life cannot help but mirror them back to you. It is not necessary to struggle or strive, for struggle comes from fear, and fear creates resistance. The word spoken with calm certainty dissolves obstacles and draws the good to you effortlessly. The river of life flows freely, and your words carve its channel. If you say, "I always have more than enough," the river widens to meet your need. If you say, "I never have enough," the river dries up before your eyes. Speak to money as you would to a beloved child, kindly, respectfully, with encouragement and delight. Say, "You are safe with me, you are a blessing, and through you I bless others." In this way you establish a partnership with money, and money begins to seek you out, for it knows it will find a good home. Your words are commands to the unseen forces that govern your affairs. They are not mere sounds but decrees that shape destiny. To speak is to create. To affirm is to align yourself with the abundance of the universe. When you choose words of power, wealth, and love, you choose a life overflowing with supply. Words are seeds that shape reality. Each word carries a creative force, an unseen power that moves out into the ether and gathers to itself the very form it declares. When we speak, we plant in the fertile soil of the subconscious mind, and the subconscious does not question, argue, or reason. It accepts, nurtures, and brings forth whatever has been sown. A casual remark spoken without awareness may seem like nothing at the moment, yet it travels outward like ripples on water, returning multiplied, clothed in circumstances and events that mirror its tone. Just as a farmer would never sow weeds if he desired a harvest of wheat, so must we guard the words that pass our lips, for they cannot help but bring forth after their kind. A word of lack will bear lack, a word of abundance will bear abundance, and a word of health will bear health. Consider how easily people speak words of defeat. "I can't afford it. Nothing ever works out for me. I always get sick at this time of year." These phrases may feel harmless or even humorous, but the law of life does not recognize jokes. The soil does not refuse a seed because the farmer tossed it in jest. It simply grows what has been planted. So it is with speech. Words of defeat, when repeated, take root in the subconscious, sprout in the imagination, and eventually blossom into the very experiences that were casually declared. People then wonder why they struggle, not realizing that they themselves authored the story with their own tongue. On the other hand, when words are chosen with care and spoken with conviction, They summon invisible forces to align in our favor. Everything I touch prospers. I am divinely guided in all that I do. Money flows to me easily and joyfully. These statements set in motion vibrations of success and abundance that cannot be denied. Spoken again and again, they create a rhythm in the subconscious, a melody of expectation, and life arranges itself to match the song. It is not magic in the sense of trickery, it is simply law, as reliable as gravity. The spoken word is law in action. Think of words as containers of energy. Some carry the heaviness of doubt and fear, others carry the brilliance of faith and joy. When you say, "I am afraid this will not work out," you are filling your container with failure, and that is what pours back into your life. When you say, "I am confident everything works in my favor," you are filling your container with success, and success must be the outpouring. You cannot sow a seed of thorns and expect roses, and you cannot speak words of limitation and expect expansion. The soil of life is impartial. It does not choose for you, it only produces what you declare. Even the smallest words hold power. To say, "I am," is to invoke the greatest creative command, for whatever follows becomes stamped upon your being. If you say, "I am tired, I am broke, I am unlucky," you are binding yourself to those conditions. If you say, "I am strong, I am wealthy, I am favored," you are loosing the power of creation to bring those states into visibility. The "I am" is the gateway to manifestation, and it must be guarded as sacred. Words do not act alone, they are energized by belief. A person may say, "I am prosperous," with their lips. Yet if their heart is filled with doubt and fear, the declaration is weakened. But when the spoken word is joined with inner conviction, the power is unstoppable. It is as if the seed is not only planted, but also watered and tended with care, ensuring its growth. This is why repetition and affirmation are so vital. They train the subconscious to accept the new reality, and in time belief takes root, making the words fertile. The world itself was spoken into being. Let there be light, and there was light. That same principle operates in every individual life. When you say, "Let there be supply," the invisible begins to form channels through which supply can appear. When you say, "Let there be peace," situations begin to arrange themselves to reflect harmony. The spoken decree is the spark that ignites creation. To remain silent in fear or to speak in complaint is to forfeit your creative authority. To speak boldly in faith is to claim it. Notice how children imitate the language of their parents and soon live out the very experiences described in the household. A child who constantly hears, "We can't afford it," grows up believing scarcity is natural. Another who hears, "There is always enough," grows up with an inner assurance of plenty. The pattern of words sets the stage long before the play is acted out. In the same way, adults continue to rehearse lines that either uplift or diminish their lives, seldom realizing they are both the playwright and the actor in their own drama. Guarding speech requires vigilance, for habits of language are deeply ingrained. Many people speak without awareness, scattering seeds of doubt and lack throughout their day. The practice of mindful speech turns the tide. Begin by listening to yourself, as though you were listening to a stranger. Notice the words you use to describe your circumstances, your finances, your health. Do they affirm life, or do they diminish it? Each time you catch yourself sowing a seed of limitation, replace it with a word of expansion. Instead of, "I can't," say, "I can." Instead of, "I never have enough," say, "My supply is endless." Over time, the new seeds take root, and the old harvest fades away. Your words are not empty. They are commands. They do not vanish into the air, they set unseen currents in motion. Speak poverty and poverty gathers. Speak abundance and abundance appears. Speak weakness and weakness manifests. Speak strength and strength arises. Life is always echoing back the sound of your own voice. The universe is but a great mirror, faithfully reflecting the decrees you set forth with your tongue. Money responds to love, respect, and recognition. It is not a cold or lifeless thing, but a form of energy that vibrates in harmony with the way it is treated. When people speak of money as though it were scarce, elusive, or burdensome. They unknowingly drive it away, just as one might drive away a guest by constant criticism. Money listens. It hears the tones of resentment and disdain, and it retreats. It also hears the tones of gratitude and welcome, and it draws near. Just as a beloved friend delights in being appreciated, money delights in being honored. Many speak of money as though it were an enemy. They say, "Money is the root of all evil," or "Rich people are greedy," or "I never have enough." These words carry a vibration of rejection, and what is rejected will not remain. When money is treated as a problem, it behaves like one. When it is treated as a blessing, it arrives bearing gifts. The law of life is simple: what you bless, blesses you; what you curse, curses you. To speak kindly of money, to respect its role, to acknowledge it as a servant of good, is to open the way for it to multiply and serve you well. Love is magnetic. When you love money, not with grasping or desperation, but with appreciation, you attract it. To love money is to recognize its usefulness, to see it as a tool for freedom, expression, and generosity. Love is never clingy, never anxious, never fearful. It trusts. In the same way, when you love money rightly, you trust its flow, you do not panic when it goes out, and you welcome it joyfully when it returns. A person who says with gratitude, "I love how money flows through my life and brings blessings to me and to others," sets a vibration that calls money to them in ever-increasing measure. Respect for money means handling it with care, no matter the amount. If a person despises small sums, crumples bills, scatters coins, or says, "It's just a little," they are showing disregard for the very energy they wish to attract. The one who respects money keeps it in order, treats it as valuable, and honors even the smallest coin, for the smallest contains the seed of the greatest. Respect is recognition of worth, and recognition multiplies what is recognized. When you honor $1 as you would 1,000, the 1,000 is drawn to you, for like attracts like. Recognition is the acknowledgement of money's presence and activity in your life. To say, "Money never comes to me," is blindness, for money has already moved countless times through your hands, your home, your affairs. To recognize it, even in small appearances, is to increase it. Gratitude for the money you already have is the open door for more. When you receive money and say, "I bless this money, and it blesses me," you elevate its vibration and invite it to multiply. What you ignore diminishes, but what you recognize expands. Money responds to joy as well. If you spend with regret or fear, the vibration is heavy, and the flow is blocked. If you spend with delight, knowing that money returns multiplied, the flow increases. To pay a bill with resentment is to affirm lack. To pay it with gratitude, saying, "This money blesses and returns to me," is to affirm abundance. Money is not diminished when it is spent, it is set into circulation, and circulation is life. When you give freely and joyfully, you prove your faith in supply. And money responds by coming back through channels, both expected and unexpected. There are those who chase money with worry, clutching at it, fearing its loss. This is not love or respect but desperation, and desperation repels. Just as a frightened animal flees from grasping hands, money flees from desperate hearts. True love is calm, steady, and assured. It knows that what belongs will remain and what departs will return. To hold money loosely, with appreciation and trust, is to signal confidence in infinite supply. Money responds to that confidence by flowing steadily, for it knows it is safe in the presence of one who understands its nature. Money is a faithful servant, but a poor master. When it is loved and respected, it serves generously. When it is idolized or feared, it enslaves. The balance lies in seeing money as a channel, not a source. The true source is the divine flow of supply, unlimited and unending. Money is simply one of its expressions. To confuse the channel with the source is to misplace your faith. But to love money as an instrument of good, to respect its power to bless, to recognize it as part of the infinite circulation of supply, is to keep it in its rightful place as servant and friend. Observe how those who complain of money seldom have enough, while those who speak well of it seem to attract it naturally. Words of criticism repel, words of praise invite. A person may say, "I never get ahead," and life proves them right. Another may say, "Money comes easily and frequently," and life proves them right as well. Money obeys the tone set by the speaker. It responds to the vibration of the word and the attitude behind it. The law is impartial. It delivers to each according to their decree. When you speak to money, do so as to a trusted companion. Say, "You are welcome here. You circulate freely. You bless me, and I bless you." Speak with warmth and certainty, and money will be drawn to that warmth. It will feel at home with you, for you have created a space of love and respect. Just as a cherished guest brings gifts when they know they are honored, so does money bring increase when it knows it is valued. Affirmations open the flow of abundance. Every word spoken with faith and certainty sets in motion a current of power that moves through the unseen and arranges itself in the seen. An affirmation is not merely a sentence, it is a decree, a command to the forces of life, a declaration of what must be made visible. When you affirm, you are not begging, wishing, or hoping. You are claiming what already exists in the invisible storehouse and calling it into form. The universe does not withhold, it is ever ready to pour forth supply. But it waits upon the word, for the word is the signal, the key that opens the gate. So many go through life affirming lack without realizing it. They say, "I never have enough. I can't make ends meet. Money slips through my fingers," and these statements, repeated day after day, act as affirmations of poverty. The law cannot distinguish between the careless and the deliberate, it produces in kind. Thus, a person may pray for abundance with their lips, but continually affirm lack with their daily speech, and the affirmations outweigh the prayer. The tongue is powerful, and what it repeats becomes etched in the subconscious, and the subconscious accepts it as truth. Once accepted, life must rearrange itself to prove it. True affirmations are crafted with intention. They are positive, present, and alive with conviction. I am abundant now. Wealth flows freely into my life. All that I need is supplied in divine order. Such affirmations lift the mind above appearances and anchor it in the reality of unlimited supply. Even when outer circumstances seem contrary, the spoken affirmation holds steady, planting seeds that will in time break through the soil of limitation. The farmer does not doubt the seed beneath the ground, he waters it, trusts it, and knows it will sprout. So too must affirmations be watered with repetition and faith until the harvest appears. Affirmations open the flow, because they dissolve the inner dams of fear and doubt. When you say with authority, "I always prosper," no matter the circumstances, you dismantle the belief in struggle and set your mind free to perceive new avenues of supply. Fear closes doors, while affirmation opens them. Worry tightens the hand, while affirmation relaxes it. When you affirm abundance, you create a channel within yourself through which abundance can flow. Life is always ready to give, but the receiving vessel must be open, and affirmations are the act of opening. To affirm is also to align yourself with divine order. The universe operates on harmony, balance, and circulation. When you affirm abundance, you are stepping into rhythm with that circulation. You are saying, "I am part of the flow, and the flow moves through me freely." The stagnant thought of lack is out of rhythm, like a rock blocking the river. Affirmations lift the rock and allow the current to rush forth again. Many wonder why they feel blocked, why good seems delayed. The answer lies in the constant repetition of thoughts and words that oppose abundance. The moment those words are changed, the flow resumes. Affirmations must be spoken aloud whenever possible, for the spoken word carries vibration beyond thought. Thought is powerful, but speech gives it form, clothing the invisible in sound. Sound penetrates, sound impresses, sound creates. When you say, "I am wealthy and free," and you feel the vibration of those words pass through your body, you are impressing both your mind and the very atmosphere around you. The spoken affirmation charges the air with your decree, and the air itself begins to conspire for its fulfillment. Consistency is vital. A single affirmation spoken once is like a drop of water on dry soil. It may not penetrate, But affirmations spoken daily, with persistence, are like rain that softens the ground until the seed breaks through. You cannot speak abundance in the morning and lack in the afternoon and expect clarity of results. The law responds to the dominant vibration. Therefore, one must guard the tongue and commit fully to affirming only what one desires, never what one fears. Each affirmation is a brushstroke painting the canvas of your life. The more deliberate the strokes, the clearer the picture becomes. It is not enough to parrot words without feeling. Affirmations must be felt as though already true. When you say, "I am prosperous now," let yourself feel the relief, the joy, the gratitude of prosperity, as though it were already present. That feeling charges the words with life. Empty words are like empty shells, but words filled with emotion are seeds bursting with vitality. The subconscious responds most quickly to words that are alive with feeling, for they bypass resistance and take root in the fertile soil of imagination. There is also power in specificity. General affirmations are helpful, but when you affirm with clarity, the mind has a definite picture to grasp. To say, "I easily attract $10,000 in perfect ways," paints a vivid image for the subconscious to work with. To say, "I live in a beautiful, spacious home filled with peace and light," gives substance to the affirmation, allowing the unseen to begin shaping the scene. The clearer the picture, the swifter the manifestation, for the mind moves more easily toward what it can envision. Affirmations are not meant to force or strain. They are gentle yet firm declarations of truth. They are not demands of life, but agreements with life's abundance. To affirm is to harmonize with what already exists in the invisible realm. Abundance is already present in the field of potential. Affirmations are the key that selects it, brings it forward, and anchors it in your experience. The act of affirming is the act of claiming your inheritance, of standing in your rightful place as co-creator with the divine. Even in moments of apparent lack, affirmations hold the power to shift the atmosphere. When the purse feels light, say with authority, "There is always more where this came from. Supply is unlimited." When opportunities seem scarce, declare, "New doors open for me constantly. I walk into golden opportunities with ease." These affirmations push against the wall of appearances and remind you that appearances are temporary shadows, not final realities. They lift the mind above the visible into the invisible, where all is already complete. Affirmations also influence others, for the vibration they carry extends outward. When you consistently affirm abundance, those around you feel your assurance and respond in kind. Opportunities arise through people drawn to your energy, resources come through unexpected hands, and situations unfold that mirror the faith you have spoken. Affirmations ripple outward, shaping not only your inner world, but your outer world as well. Fearful speech blocks supply, faith-filled speech multiplies it. Words are not idle, they carry the weight of belief behind them, and belief is creative. When a person speaks out of fear, they set a vibration of resistance, and resistance dammed up becomes obstruction. "I never have enough. Something always goes wrong. Money slips away from me." Each phrase becomes a decree, and the decree is obeyed. The invisible forces that respond to speech hear the tone of fear, and instead of moving freely, they halt, waiting for a command of faith. Fear contracts, it closes the channels through which abundance flows. It is like a clenched hand that cannot receive. Faith expands, it opens the channels wide, inviting more and more to enter. It is like an open hand that welcomes the gift. Fearful speech is insidious because it often hides itself in casual remarks and habits of conversation. People joke about being broke. They complain about bills, they exaggerate misfortune, and all the while they are affirming limitation. The universe does not recognize the difference between jest and seriousness, it recognizes vibration. The soil of life does not refuse a seed because it was planted in play, it grows whatever is placed within it. Thus, fearful speech, even when light-hearted, sends forth a message of lack that must be answered in kind. Faith-filled speech, even when circumstances look dire, sends forth a message of abundance that must be answered in kind. To speak in fear is to bow before appearances. to give authority to what is seen rather than to the unseen truth. To say, I cannot afford this, is to declare allegiance to limitation. To say, I always find a way, my supply is endless, is to declare allegiance to abundance. The difference is not merely in the words themselves, but in the spirit that breathes through them. Fearful words spring from doubt. Faithful words spring from knowing. The one who knows that supply is infinite does not fear temporary lack, they speak in confidence, and confidence opens doors. Life multiplies whatever is spoken with conviction. Fear spoken multiplies fear, lack spoken multiplies lack. Faith spoken multiplies faith, abundance spoken multiplies abundance. If a man continually says, I always lose money, life proves him right by arranging circumstances where money is lost. If another continually says, everything I touch prospers, life proves him right by arranging circumstances where prosperity appears. The law is impartial, and the multiplication depends only on the seed sown. Fearful seed produces fearful harvest, faithful seed produces faithful harvest. Fearful speech also impresses the subconscious mind, and the subconscious acts without argument. It accepts whatever is repeated and produces conditions to match. When a person says daily, I am always in debt, the subconscious believes and arranges life to keep them in debt. When they say daily, I am free from debt, I live in abundance, the subconscious believes and arranges life to release them into freedom. The tongue trains the subconscious, and the subconscious creates the outer life. Thus, every word is a tool of instruction, either teaching lack or teaching abundance. Faith-filled speech does more than affirm, it multiplies. To say, money comes to me easily and frequently, is to send forth a command that not only attracts money, but attracts it in increasing measure. Faith speaks in multiplication because faith sees no limits. It does not say, I have just enough to get by, but rather, my supply overflows. I have more than enough to share and to spare. The vibration of overflow invites overflow. The vibration of just enough invites only what is sufficient. Faith does not shrink life to fit circumstances, it expands circumstances to fit life. Fearful speech binds imagination, while faith-filled speech frees it. When you say, I can't, the mind closes, it no longer seeks solutions. When you say, I can and I will, the mind opens, it begins to search for ways, ideas, and opportunities. Fear cuts off creativity, faith releases it. Many inventions, businesses, and discoveries have been born because someone spoke with faith in possibilities when fear would have silenced them. The word spoken in faith creates an atmosphere where ideas flourish and doors swing open. Fearful speech also spreads outward, affecting others. A household where people continually speak of lack becomes heavy with tension, opportunities are overlooked, joy is stifled, and money seems to flee. A household where people continually speak of abundance becomes light with expectation, opportunities are noticed, joy abounds, and money seems to arrive easily. Words create atmosphere, and atmosphere attracts conditions. A single voice of faith can lift an entire household, while a single voice of fear can burden it. The practice of faith-filled speech requires discipline. Fearful words often rise to the lips because appearances press upon the senses. A bill arrives and the instinct is to say, I can't pay this. But the disciplined tongue says, this bill is already paid in divine order, and money comes easily to cover it. The appearance does not dictate the word dictates the appearance. To master speech is to master circumstances. The moment one refuses to let fear speak through the lips, fear loses its power to shape reality. Faith-filled speech also carries the spirit of gratitude. Gratitude itself is an affirmation that multiplies supply. To say, I am grateful for the money I have now, and I welcome more, is to open the channel wider. Gratitude affirms abundance, and abundance responds by increasing. Fear speaks in complaint. This isn't enough, I never have what I need. Complaint tightens the flow, and even what little is present diminishes. Gratitude loosens the flow, and even the little multiplies. Faith and gratitude together create an unstoppable current of increase. Fearful speech is rooted in the belief that supply is limited, while faith-filled speech is rooted in the knowing that supply is infinite. Fear says, if I gain, another must lose. Faith says, there is more than enough for all. Fear says, I must hold tightly to what I have. Faith says, I can release freely, for more always comes. Fear says, opportunities are scarce. Faith says, opportunities are everywhere, and they come to me constantly. The vibration of fear creates scarcity, the vibration of faith creates plenty. Each person chooses daily which vibration to set in motion by the words they speak. Speak to money as a trusted friend and partner. Money is not a stranger to be feared or a master to be obeyed. It is a companion that responds to the way it is treated. When you speak harshly of money, you push it away. When you curse it, complain about it, or call it evil, you shut the door to its presence. But when you speak kindly, when you acknowledge it as a loyal ally, it draws near with eagerness, ready to serve. Money listens just as a friend listens. It responds to tone, intention, and attitude. The words you speak to money are instructions, and money obeys. Imagine greeting money each morning as you would a cherished guest. You rise and say, money, I welcome you into my life. You are safe here. You circulate freely, bringing blessings wherever you go. These words create an atmosphere of hospitality, and money feels at home. Just as a friend enjoys returning to a place of warmth, so does money enjoy returning to the one who honors it. Many do the opposite. They sigh when money leaves, they scold it when it seems scarce, and they declare it hard to keep. Such speech is like slamming the door on a visitor, and then wondering why the visitor does not return. Speaking to money as a partner means recognizing its role in your life. Money is not merely paper or coins, it is a form of energy, a vehicle through which good can be expressed. It allows freedom of choice, the ability to bless others, the capacity to create beauty, comfort, and opportunity. When you speak to money with respect, you affirm its usefulness and its divine purpose. To say, money is a blessing, and through me it blesses others, is to place money in its rightful role as servant of good, not a source of harm. Respect for money aligns you with its natural flow, and that flow increases where it is welcomed. Speaking as to a trusted friend also means speaking words of assurance. A friend who constantly hears, you never show up for me, you always leave me, you cause me trouble, will eventually withdraw. Money, too, withdraws when spoken to in such terms. But if you say, money, you are faithful, you are steady, you come to me easily, and you stay with me joyfully, then money remains loyal. It behaves according to the role you assign it. If you declare it fleeting, it becomes fleeting. If you declare it dependable, it becomes dependable. Speech is the script, and money plays the part you write for it. Many treat money as though it were a tyrant, holding power over their lives. They say, I can't do this because of money, or money controls everything. In truth, money is a servant, not a master. To speak to it as a partner is to reclaim your authority. Say, money, you serve me well. You support my dreams, you carry out my visions. You multiply and return to me freely. These words restore balance, reminding you that money exists to work for you, not to rule over you. A partner is not an enemy but a helper, and money delights in being given that role. Partnership with money also requires appreciation. Just as a friend feels valued when thanked, money feels valued when blessed. Each time money comes into your hands, say, thank you, money, for arriving so perfectly. Thank you for all you do for me. Each time money goes out, say, thank you, money, for blessing this exchange. You return to me multiplied. Gratitude turns every transaction into a moment of communion with money, deepening the bond of trust. Instead of fearing money's departure, you celebrate its circulation, knowing that like a loyal partner, it always finds its way back. To speak to money as a trusted friend is also to confide in it, to share your intentions and include it in your visions. You may say, money, together we create a life of freedom and joy. Together we build homes, support families, inspire others, and bring beauty into the world. By speaking in this way, you weave money into your dreams, not as a barrier but as a collaborator. You shift the narrative from, I need money to do this, to money and I accomplish this together. In partnership, there is ease, cooperation, and flow. Money, like any partner, responds to consistency. You cannot praise it one day and curse it the next and expect loyalty. If one day you say, money loves me and flows to me, and the next day you say, I never have enough, you confuse the relationship. Consistent speech builds trust. Just as a friend feels secure in steady affirmation, money feels secure in steady words of respect. The more consistent your declarations, the stronger the bond becomes. Over time, money learns to trust your welcome and begins to arrive with greater ease and regularity. Speaking to money as a friend also transforms the way you feel about receiving it. Some shrink from money, feeling guilty or unworthy. Yet no one hesitates to receive a gift from a friend. If money is your friend, you accept it joyfully, knowing it comes to you with love. Say, money, I receive you with open arms. You are always welcome here. This attitude dissolves guilt and resistance, replacing them with openness and joy. The more you welcome money, the more it comes, just as a friend visits often when they feel wanted. When money is treated as a partner, it also becomes part of your spiritual practice. You speak to it with reverence, not worship but acknowledgement. You see it as a channel of divine supply, and you affirm its sacred role in your life. Money, you are a channel of good. You carry divine energy into form. You are holy in your purpose. Speaking in this way sanctifies the relationship, lifting it from the mundane to the sacred. Money then becomes not only a partner in worldly affairs, but also an instrument of spiritual expression, multiplying good in countless ways.